It's Halloween, and to celebrate I thought it would only be right to post a platinum video on one of the creepiest old school horror games I've ever played, Stay Out of the House. Stay Out of the House is a first-person survival horror game developed by Puppet Combo, a developer known for creating retro-style, VHS-inspired horror games. Released in October 2022, the game is part of a broader Puppet Combo universe, which includes titles like Night Shift and The Nun Massacre, which after playing this game I definitely want to try out in the future. The studio focuses on horror games with a low poly graphics reminiscent of PlayStation 1 games, and the games have earned a certain cult following, you could say. The game has a total of 30 trophies, including unlocking all of the 4 different endings and beating the game on hard mode, which believe me is no joke. Let's go. The game begins with a prologue sequence where we play as Deborah, a store clerk at a gas station out in the middle of nowhere. At first there isn't much to do. We have some jobs from our boss that we need to complete, like stacking the fridges and mopping the floors, and we can also play this mini game in the corner of the shop called the Power Drill Massacre, where we play as a couple who get trapped in an evil killer's house and need to escape. This minigame was actually pretty hard, but I knew I had to beat it because there was a trophy attached to it, and so I played this game for a good amount of time trying to get through all the different levels where the killer just spawns from absolutely random places, but eventually after a while we beat the game and we got our first trophy. We also got a trophy called Good Employee, which you get for completing all the jobs assigned to you by your boss, which includes sweeping the floors, stacking the crisps, the beer, and the motor oil. Eventually, as we go about our evening, customers begin to come into the gas station. The first is a man who simply wants to pay for gas, and so we take his money and fill up the pump. The second is a lady who, if you're really rude to, will give you another trophy called Bad Customer Service. The third and final customer is an extremely creepy man with a deep voice who is really interested to know if we're working here all alone.
Hi, you're here all alone.
After creeping around the store for a few minutes, the man eventually leaves and it's not quite clear what you're supposed to do next. And so we look around the shop for information or clues on where to go and what to see, and we see that the back door to the shop, which was closed before, is now open, but it wasn't us who opened it, so who did?
Okay, we are cooked.
Completing the gas station level gives us our next trophy. The second part of the prologue involves us playing as a girl whose boyfriend stops to find somewhere to go for a piss, but never comes back. We go to look for our boyfriend who is nowhere to be seen until eventually we come across quite a cute little dog that wants us to follow him. We're eventually led to an old abandoned house, and upon going inside we can hear the dog crying from downstairs. We eventually find our furry friend in the basement, trapped in what looks to be a bear trap, so we release our friend, make our way back up the stairs, when all of a sudden, getting captured by the killer concludes the prologue section and gives us another trophy. By the way, if you're liking this video, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I would really appreciate your support. Now back to it. We are now in the house section of the game, and this place is wild. We wake up in a cage and there is seemingly no way to escape until we discover a little opening in the top corner. We pull back the cage wire and we are now free to roam the house. The game has you explore every corner of the house, which has a ton of rooms, floors, and secret areas, all while avoiding the killer we saw before and what seems to be his weird evil grandma, who roams around the house on an electric wheelchair and will start screaming if she sees you, which will alert the killer. But there is something you can do about it. If you find the hammer hidden in a drawer on the second floor and go to the room where grandma is watching TV, then you can, well, you know, kill grandma. This gives us our next trophy. There are also security cameras around the house which will raise an alarm if they see you, and breaking one will give you another trophy. If the killer catches you, he will put you back in a room you can escape from, and you will see a timer telling you that the days are counting down to something which is probably not good. We escape the room and continue to explore until eventually we find some useful items. A radar that tracks the killer's movement and gives us another trophy, and a revolver which if used carefully can certainly save your life. We use the same hammer we used to kill grandma to smash a lock to a door to access a new part of the house, which gives us another trophy. As we explore, we find notes from other survivors telling chilling stories of how they tried to escape but were unable to do so, and explanations about who the killer is. His name is the Butcher, and he seems to be involved in some kind of satanic ritual involving cannibalism and torture. We eventually find a pair of wire cutters which we use in the basement, which turns off the fan in the vents, allowing us to crawl through, and as we crawl through we see the Butcher taunting one of his victims, who let's just say I don't think we'll be trying to rescue. and after roaming around and collecting body parts which we load into a meat scale, the scale eventually snaps and we use the gear from it to insert it into a nearby clock, which when we turn to 5 o'clock reveals a hidden area. We move through this area finding much more creepy shit along the way, until eventually we find ourselves outside of the house where we get our next trophy. After getting outside, we can see several other victims all in cages, and this is where we get our next trophies. The first is called Rescuer, which you get for opening one of the cages for the victims, which was closely followed by the second trophy called the New Butcher, which we get for, well...
Stop it. Get some help.
The third is called Don't Look Back, which we get for hiding and watching the butcher come outside to collect a victim and doing nothing about it. The fourth trophy is called Hero. We get this one for leading one of the victims to a safe area back inside the house, which was scary less because of the butcher and more because of this creepy walk that they would do behind us.
What the fuck is that?
At this point, I should say that there are several different endings to stay out of the house, and we'd need to get each one to get the platinum trophy. The first ending you can get straight away is called Sacrifice, and this comes from simply staring at the TV next to the cage too long when you first wake up. This will firstly give you the CFV trophy, and secondly result in the killer dragging you away to an underground cave, and well, I'm sure you can imagine the rest. And then you'll get the Sacrifice trophy. The second ending is called Parasite, and this is done firstly by finding the 3 batteries hidden around the house, inserting them into a can opener, and using the can opener on a can found in the kitchen, which gives us the key to the front door. After unlocking the front door and making our way outside, we're suddenly put into a chase sequence with the butcher, which involves us sprinting around an open area into a trailer park, and at the very end of the park a light shines on a trailer. The butcher disappears and we're greeted by the same creepy man who we saw earlier at the gas station, and in his still very creepy deep voice, the man seems unfazed by our story of someone trying to kill us and invites us to come inside, when all of a sudden some kind of alien-like creature seems to be coming out of our mouth, which would make sense given the name of this trophy. We get a trophy for completing the Parasite ending and for completing the game on easy mode. The existence of some kind of alien being becomes clear in the third ending we unlock called Rebirth. This is unlocked by accessing the bunker, which can be done by putting a secret code into the basement door of the house, which will also give you a trophy. As we explore the bunker, we eventually come upon a tunnel which looks like a potential escape route, but is far from it. We're once again paralyzed by the butcher, and upon waking up find ourselves in what can only be described as a room from hell, with some creepy alien creature hanging from the ceiling, which from what we learn about in the lore from this game seems to feast on the flesh of humans, and so I'm sure you can guess how this ending goes. The fourth and final ending trophy is called The End, and we get this by escaping the bunker. This is actually an incredibly complicated process which will involve you exploring each and every corner of the bunker, solving puzzles and finding key items. To achieve the final ending, we need to find the self-destruct codes which will trigger the entire bunker to blow up. In the time we're given, we need to make our escape until we eventually come face to face with our attacker in a sort of mini boss fight, where we need to avoid his chainsaw whilst we remove the planks blocking the emergency exit. We're eventually able to escape, and do we make it out safely? No. We are first awoken by doctors who tell us to rest, and then when we wake a second time we find that the hospital we're in is infested with these alien creatures all over the place. We see a sign that says it feels you, and as we open the hospital doors the game fades to black and we are awarded our last ending trophy. We also got the trophy for beating the game on medium difficulty. With every available ending in the game completed, we cleaned up on a bunch of miscellaneous trophies which included shooting the butcher which makes him run away, collecting every part of the camera and activating photo mode, finding what seems to be a baby's room in the house, collecting every document in the game, and luring the butcher into one of his own bear traps. I was still, however, yet to achieve what is undoubtedly the hardest trophy in the game, and that was to beat the game on hard mode. The quickest way to complete hard mode would be to escape through the front door, but this still meant getting all 3 batteries for the can opener, which is no easy task. In hard mode, resources like bullets and VHS tapes which allow you to save the game are more scarce. You also have a food and water meter which runs out if you don't eat or drink. There are way more security cameras and traps around, and if the butcher catches you, it's basically impossible to escape or survive. But that wasn't going to stop us. I made my way through the house collecting each battery and saving on the rare occasion where I could. I was able to eventually save my game at the point where all I had to do was escape, but there was a bit of a problem. I had completely run out of food and water, and my health meter was extremely low, and so the first time I escaped the house and was almost at the end, this happened. I tried to go faster the second time. I got all the way to the final chase sequence with the butcher, and just as I was about to make it, this wasn't good. If I was going to reach the end of the game without dying, I was going to have to be as quick as possible so I didn't die of starvation. And so on my third attempt, I got to the front door and escaped as quickly as I possibly could. My screen was going so fuzzy, which meant I was almost about to die again. But thankfully, we made it to the Creepy Guys trailer. We get the gross Parasite ending once again, and I'm awarded the trophy for completing the game on hard mode. Our final trophy before getting the platinum was called Death to CFV, and we got this from destroying every single TV within both the house and the bunker in one playthrough. And so I played the game on explore mode, quickly moving around and destroying each TV until we found our last one, and with that we got our last trophy and another platinum trophy. Guys, this game was absolutely terrifying. This kind of retro style graphics really makes it super eerie, and the house is so claustrophobic and the killer is so fast. It's amazing how games like this can be 100 times scarier than some of the modern day horrors that come out today. It's a classic slasher, but it does it so well, and it's got a wider universe which I'm definitely going to explore. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll be putting more platinums out very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.